Formula One. It's a sport that can be so cruel. A world of fine margins where a tenth of a second can feel like an eternity, and a lifetime of dedication can pass without that one defining moment. For Nico Hülkenberg, that moment seemed destined to never arrive. For 239 Grands Prix, he had watched from the sidelines as others sprayed the champagne, celebrated on the rostrum, and lifted the silverware. He was the nearly man, the driver with all the talent but none of the luck. A career defined by what could have been a record for the most starts without a single podium finish hanging over him like a persistent rain cloud. It was a statistic that belied his immense skill and his unwavering professionalism. But on this day, July 6, 2025, the heavens didn't just open, they washed away the old narrative entirely. The British Grand Prix at Silverstone, a legendary circuit known for its high-speed challenges, became the stage for one of the sport's most emotional and long-awaited triumphs. It was here that the longest, most arduous wait in Formula One history finally, gloriously, came to an end. After more than a decade of trying, of near misses and heartbreaks, of losing drives and fighting his way back onto the grid, Nico Hülkenberg, the Hulk, finally stood on a Formula One podium. It was a victory not just for him, but for perseverance itself. The day began with little promise. Starting from 19th on the grid, from the very back row, the odds of a points finish were slim, let alone a podium. The Stake F1 team, while showing promise, was not yet a frontrunner. Hülkenberg, now a seasoned veteran at 37, faced the daunting task of navigating a treacherous, rain-soaked track with nothing but hope and experience on his side. Yet sometimes the most challenging conditions are where true talent shines brightest. The rain that lashed Silverstone was not a hindrance. It was an opportunity, a great leveler that would test every driver's skill, courage, and strategic acumen to the absolute limit. For so long the story had been the same. Le Mans winner, junior Formula champion, a driver universally respected in the paddock for his raw pace and his analytical mind. Yet that F1 trophy remained elusive. The 2012 Brazilian Grand Prix, where he led convincingly before a collision with Lewis Hamilton shattered his hopes, was a particularly painful memory. These near misses became part of his folklore, chapters in a book that many thought would never have its happy ending. But Nico never gave up. He returned to the sport, he fought for his place, and he believed. And at Silverstone, his belief was finally rewarded. The 2025 British Grand Prix will be remembered for its chaos. A classic Silverstone downpour had descended upon the circuit, turning the asphalt into a treacherous ribbon of black ice. Visibility was poor, grip was non-existent, and the potential for error was immense. As the lights went out, Hülkenberg, mired at the back of the pack, focused solely on survival. While others spun or made costly mistakes in the spray, Nico was a picture of calm and precision. He navigated the opening laps with the wisdom of his 242 entries, keeping his nose clean, preserving his tires, and quietly beginning his ascent through the field. As the race descended into a symphony of safety cars and virtual safety car periods, the Stake F1 team pit wall deserves immense credit for their part in this fairy tale. They played a strategic blinder, a high-stakes game of meteorological chess. They watched the data, they read the sky, and they made the calls with perfect timing. While rivals hesitated, they brought Nico in for intermediate tires at the exact right moment, allowing him to carve through the midfield. Then came the most crucial decision, the crossover to slick tires. They timed it to perfection, just as a dry line was beginning to emerge, giving Hülkenberg a significant advantage over those who pitted too early or too late. It was a masterstroke of strategy that propelled him into the top 10. Climbing into the points was one thing, but Nico was just getting started. As the track dried and the DRS was finally enabled, he found himself with pace in hand and a podium in his sights. His charge was relentless. He dispatched his rivals with clinical efficiency, making decisive moves that spoke of a driver at the peak of his powers. The overtake on Lance Stroll for third place was a particular highlight, a bold and confident move around the outside that signaled his intent. He wasn't just settling for points, he was hunting for that career-defining trophy. The Hulk was on a mission, and the entire paddock was watching in disbelief. It's pretty surreal, to be honest, Hülkenberg would later admit, the magnitude of the moment still sinking in. Not sure how it all happened, but obviously crazy conditions, mixed conditions. It was a survival fight for a lot of the race. It was more than a survival fight, it was a masterclass. From 19th on the grid through the rain, the safety cars, and the strategic gambles, he had driven with a blend of aggression and intelligence that was simply breathtaking. He had put himself in a position that nobody, perhaps not even he, had thought possible when the day began. Now only one final monumental challenge remained. The final laps of the race set up a duel for the ages. Behind him, closing in with menacing pace, was the Ferrari of Lewis Hamilton. A 7-time world champion, racing in front of his adoring home crowd, desperate to continue his own incredible streak of 12 consecutive podiums at Silverstone. It was the ultimate test, the man who had waited his entire career for one podium against the man who had stood on more than any other. The pressure was immense, the stakes astronomical. For Hülkenberg, this was not just about securing third place, it was about conquering the ghosts of his past, including the very driver who had been involved in his infamous 2012 heartbreak. Hamilton, on fresher tires, was relentless. He pushed, he probed, he used every ounce of his legendary racecraft to hunt down the Sauber. The gap dwindled lap after lap, from a few seconds down to just over one. The scarlet Ferrari loomed large in Nico's mirrors, a constant, intimidating presence. The entire world held its breath. Would this be another near miss? Would the dream unravel at the final hurdle? The pressure from the Ferrari, from the crowd, from the weight of 239 races of history was almost unbearable. It was a moment that could break even the most experienced of drivers. But Nico Hülkenberg did not break. He drove the laps of his life. He was flawless. He placed his car perfectly in every corner, defended intelligently on the straights, and absorbed the pressure with a stoicism that was nothing short of heroic. He knew this was his moment, his day. I was thinking that he's going to give it his all here, in front of his home crowd, Nico recalled. And I was like, sorry guys, but it's also my day. I gotta stick my neck out. He stuck his neck out and drove with his heart, refusing to yield, refusing to let this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity slip through his fingers. As he crossed the finish line, a wave of pure, unadulterated emotion erupted. Over the team radio, his voice cracked as he screamed in celebration, a sound that echoed the cheers from the Sauber garage where mechanics and engineers were in tears, embracing in jubilant celebration. They had done it. He had done it. He had held off a charging Lewis Hamilton to secure not only his first podium but also Sauber's first in 13 long years. The pressure was there, he said. It was an intense race. But like I said, we didn't crack. No mistakes. Obviously, I'm really happy with that. Fantastic. The podium ceremony was one of the most heartwarming the sport has ever seen. As Nico Hülkenberg's name was announced, a roar of approval went up from the British crowd, a testament to the respect he commands. Flanked by the McLaren duo of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, who had secured a brilliant 1-2 finish, Nico beamed with a smile that could light up the gloomiest of English skies. When that third-place trophy was finally placed in his hands, it was a moment of pure vindication. He lifted it high, the weight of the world, the weight of 239 races, finally lifted from his shoulders. It's been a long time coming, he understated, the emotion clear in his eyes. The celebration was not confined to the podium. The entire Formula One community rejoiced. Social media erupted with messages of congratulations from fans, journalists, and fellow drivers. Comments like "the Hulk finally broke the curse" and "about bleeding time" captured the collective sentiment. This wasn't just a result for Sauber, it was a result for the entire sport. It was a reminder that Formula One, for all its politics and pressures, can still produce incredible, feel-good stories. It was a victory for one of the paddock's most popular and deserving figures, and everyone wanted to share in his joy. This achievement does more than just erase an unwanted record, it cements Nico Hülkenberg's legacy. He is no longer the driver with the most starts without a podium. He is the driver who proved that perseverance pays off. His career has been a marathon of resilience, from his debut in 2010, to losing his seat in 2019, to his comeback as a super sub, and his full-time return. He never lost faith in his ability even when others might have. He paired his God-given talent with a relentless work ethic and an attitude that refused to be defeated by circumstance. Nico Hülkenberg's Silverstone podium is a powerful lesson for us all. It's a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of persistence. It tells us that it's never too late to achieve your dreams, that you should never ever give up. In a world that often celebrates instant success, his journey is a reminder that the longest roads often lead to the most beautiful destinations. On a rainy Sunday in Great Britain, Nico Hülkenberg didn't just get a trophy. He showed the world that with enough talent, dedication, and an unbreakable spirit, anything is possible. And it was absolutely brilliant.